do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. So, but I think we're live. So everyone, hey, what's up? This is Phil Gerbyshak. Today, I'm with the amazing Alex Goldfayn. Now, Alex is an awesome sales guy, awesome author, awesome speaker. And today we're going to talk about his latest book, Selling Boldly, which you won't be able to get for a couple more weeks, but it's freaking phenomenal. You can pre-order it. Selling Boldly is all about applying positive psychology. Get this. So being a positive psychology person inside your brain to dramatically increase your confidence, happiness, and your sales. And I'm just excited to talk to Alex because his last book was fantastic. And this one is going to be even better. He sent me the PDF. So I've flipped through it. I haven't read it cover to cover yet. So I'm as excited as everyone here to learn more about Alex. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good to be with you, Phil. Man, that's a lot of pressure on my head, though, what you just did there. That's a great intro.
Well, it's all true, man. I would only speak the truth. So I'm not prone to superfluousness or, chicanery or other words that I really don't know what they mean. So, but I really am excited to talk to you today because this book is such a critical book at this time. I mean, sales is really everything we all do, whether we're selling ourselves, we're selling a product, or we're selling a service. So why did you pick now to write Selling Boldly, Alex?
I think as I deal with salespeople, which everything in the book I do with clients, right? So there's nothing in the book that's theory that isn't being applied. So what I see is fear is the reason that most salespeople don't do the things that they know they should be doing. So we all know what to do, right? So the issue is not knowing that we should pick up the phone. The issue is not knowing that we should ask for the business every time we have somebody who's interested in working with us. So the reason we don't do those things that we know we should do is fear. And fear costs people, including you and me, probably, a whole lot of money, right? Fear is the reason we don't do these things. So it's a book about establishing this fear and its impact on our sales. And then it's about what to do about it. How do we get over it? How do we deal with it? How do we take action in spite of the fear? And so that's the book, and that's why I wrote it now.
Oh, so taking action in spite of the fear. Wow, that sounds like a really powerful question, and we could probably spend the whole time on that. But talk a little bit more about this before we get into that question. Talk to me about what the heck is this positive psychology, Alex? I mean, you say in the right in the cover, man, fear is the problem. Yeah. Positive psychology is the solution. So What the heck? What does that mean even?
So positive psychology is the study of what makes us happy and successful, as opposed to the rest of psychology, which is the study of what makes us screwed up, right? It's the study of what makes us depressed. It's the study of what makes us anxious. And then even worse things like psychoses and serious issues, really serious issues. And so there's a man named Martin Seligman, who is widely acknowledged as the founder of positive psychology and the father of positive psychology. And I studied Martin Seligman in college. And so he's in the psychology textbooks. He's one of the founders of this field of behavioral psychology, which is, the rats pushing the levers. And so he was an intern for B.F. Skinner way back in the 60s. And so when you study somebody in college, you don't think they're alive anymore, right? When you become a grown-up and you're doing your work. And so here he was, and we were speaking at the same event. And I was speaking on sales growth, and he was speaking on positive psychology. And he said that in his research, he has found that resilience and perseverance are 2/3 of the equation to success, and talent is only 1/3. And so another way of saying that is perseverance and resilience are twice as important, Phil, as talent is, right? That's why if you look at a sports team, for example, you always see a player who's less athletically gifted, outperforming his teammates or her teammates that are stronger, faster, can jump better. So it's a fascinating deal. And so that's an example of positive psychology. It is the study of what makes us successful and what makes us happy. That's the work. And so what I've done in this book is I'm looking at these theories with like perseverance and resilience and confidence and optimism and gratitude, as opposed to their opposites. And we're looking at how do those positive psychology items and approaches impact successful selling and sales growth. And so that's the book, and that's how it kind of revolves in there.
Wow. So that's interesting. So it's about the right behaviors and doing more of those and being less concerned with the wrong behaviors and avoiding those. That seems very different than a lot of these books, Alex. I'm curious, are there any, I know you did a ton of research. So are there other books like this? I mean, this sounds like the only one I've heard of that actually focuses on the positivity instead of on the stop doing this, right? Hit me with the stick, hit me with the stick.
Yeah, when you write a book proposal, you have to look at everything else that's out there. And to the extent that I and my wily editor studied the market, we really couldn't find another book that specifically and intentionally analyzes sales from a positive psychology standpoint, and not just analyzing sales, but analyzing the improvements of sales, right? Selling more. Another thing to your point that my clients tell me is that I'm not the consultant that comes in to say you're doing it wrong, right? And in the book, I write this too. I don't think you're doing it wrong. If you're a salesperson watching this right now, I don't think you're doing it wrong. I think you're doing a lot of things right. I think you provide incredible value to your customers. I think you help people more than you know. In fact, I think that your customers probably speak more positively and emotionally about you than you speak about yourself, right? Meaning, I think your customers probably can sell you better to me as a prospect than you can sell yourself, because this happens all the time. So I'm not telling you what you're doing wrong. I would like to point out all you're doing right. And then I'm going to ask you to do it a little bit more, right? If you want to sell more, I don't even like to think of it as selling. I like to think of it as helping more people some more. Look at the amazing ways you help people. Now do it some more. That's the work.
Wow. So do what you're doing right and do more of it. Wow. That sounds like something I'd actually want to do, as opposed to something I've got to do, which is really, really a big shift for a lot of people, Alex. I think, we totally miss that, right? We focus on the F's instead of the A's. We focus on the bad instead of the good. That's really, really powerful. So is that fear? I mean, why is that? Why do we focus on the bad stuff instead of the good stuff?
Well, for one, we've got a lot more experience with it, right? When do customers call? So you're a salesperson. When do customers call, Phil? When they're happy?
I wish they did, right?
Right? People only pick up the phone when something's wrong or they need something urgently, right? Like they need it yesterday. Nobody ever calls a salesperson and says, listen, take your time, take 9 months, whenever you're ready, get to it, right? Whenever. It doesn't work that way. So what we do is react to things that are wrong or problems all day long. We pick up the phone, somebody's upset or angry, and they bring us an issue. We have to resolve the issue. We're in the customer service business. We have to resolve the issue. There's no choice. We have to do the work, right? And then we put down the phone and immediately the phone rings again. We pick up the phone, another issue or problem. We deal with the issue. We put down the phone. And so we spend our days this way. And so we have great experience with it. And so we focus on those things because those are the things that our customers are bringing us. And that's why, one of the things I do for my clients, which you know about because you've read it in the book, is I interview their customers. And I ask their customers, what do you like best about working with my client? What are some of your favorite things? And then they tell us all of these things that are wonderful. And the salespeople are less comfortable listening to what they do well than they are asking, what can I do better? Right? What can I improve? That's comfortable. I can do something. I know I have experience with that. But what am I doing well? What do they like about you? How do you help them? The great value you bring them. We're less comfortable with that because we have a lot less experience hearing those things, right? We can't just react to them. We just have to absorb them. So that's why.
Wow. We have more experience dealing with negative than we do with the positive. That's
a lifetime's worth, right?
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. I pulled a quote out of there. So salespeople are less comfortable hearing what we do well than what we've done wrong. That's really, really interesting. So along that lines, you have 2 chapters dedicated to testimonials. Alex, first of all, what is a testimonial? And secondly, how do we get more of them that we can sell more with these?
So people tell me that my stuff, my approach to selling more, and my clients average 10 to 20% annual revenue growth when they follow my approach, which is laid out in the book. Now, people tell me that it's so simple that it's staggering, that it's stunningly simple. And so here's what a testimonial is. I precede my answer with how absurdly simple this will be. A testimonial is your customer talking about what they're happy about. There's a testimonial. A testimonial is a customer saying what they like and appreciate and value about working with you. There's a testimonial. Now, if I ask you, kind of circling back to where we were 5 minutes ago, what will sell you better? A customer telling me why you're great, or you telling me why you're great?
Well, obviously it's a customer.
Right. All day long, right? In fact, there's nothing you can say about yourself that's nearly as good as what a customer can say. So that's a testimonial. Here is the very complicated way to get testimonials. Ready? Ask.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Ask. There it is.
Come on. That's it.
Ask for them. We don't. The reason why we don't is what we started with, fear. What if they don't like me as much as I think they do? What if they yell at me? I don't want to bother them. I don't want to lose this customer. They might reject me. They might tell me no. Those are the reasons. The way to ask for, or the way to get a testimonial is to say, Phil, listen, we've been working together for a while. You're one of my best customers, right? Love working with you. I'm just wondering, what are some of your favorite things about working with me so that I can do them some more for you? I'd like to double down on them, right? I'd like to help you more. What do you like best? That is how to get a testimonial. It's very complicated, isn't it?
Wow. So not only is it what they like, but often that's also what gets them results. So that's why your clients are seeing a 20% growth, Alex, is because they do what they like more and it works better. So I do more of what I like and what works better, therefore giving you even more testimonials. Is that right? Is that the math there?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so we have 2 purposes for these testimonials, right? They have 2 applications. The first one is obviously we can go and sell with them, right? So if I ask you, what do you like best about working with me? And you tell me that I save you time, and ask you how much time, and you say, boy, I guess if I compare it, it's maybe 20% faster with you. So now I can go to my prospect and say, listen, I have a customer similar to you, and he says that working with me has saved him 20% of his time. Now I'd like to help you this way. I just sent an email like this morning. It's a tremendous way to sell, because it's not you saying you're great. It's your paying customer saying you're great. So that's one thing. The second, maybe even more important reason or purpose for a testimonial is that it makes us, the salespeople, more confident, more positive, more optimistic, more grateful, and then in turn, more bold. I teach my salespeople, my clients that I work with, I teach them that if you want to improve your sales, if you want to grow your sales, we have to be more positive, more confident, more optimistic, and more bold. And the way to become those things is not to sit down at your desk and write down why you're wonderful, because that's weird and a little bit creepy, right? That's uncomfortable. That's a weird approach to it. The way to know how good you are is to ask your customers, and they will tell you. Phil, have you ever asked somebody for their opinion and they've said to you, no, I'd rather not share with you what's on my mind. I'd really rather not. Thanks. No.
I don't think so, Alex. Most people are pretty wanting to share their opinion.
Yeah. You're doing them an honor when you ask them what they're thinking, right? I'd like to know your opinion about working with me so that I know what I'm doing well, so that I can do it some more. And people tell it all day long. If you want testimonials, if you want referrals, the way to get them is to ask for them. and then you will receive them. We know this. I know you know. You're watching this right now. You're listening to this right now. I know you know. Everybody knows. The question is, are you doing what you know? And for the vast majority of people, the answer is no. Not enough, anyway.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is so good. So, folks, if you're listening in here, Alex has kind of raised the game here on how to sell more boldly by asking for more testimonials and knowing that it's going to help your customer and it's going to help you. I mean, that's a double value add, man. Other than fear, what do we have to lose? Right? What do we have to lose, Alex? Is there a cost to getting more testimonials, or what's the cost of not getting more testimonials?
So of course there's nothing to lose when you're coming at it from the confident, secure, optimistic position, right? From the positive psychology position. If you're coming at it from a fearful position, there is everything to lose. So if I ask for a test, so now I'm being fearful here, right? This is the incorrect mindset. If I ask, but also the common mindset, it's the mindset that pervades, the pervading mindset. If I ask for a testimonial or for the sale, right? Or for this customer to buy something else, and they tell me no, I will die immediately. It is instant death. If they tell me no, they will come and take my house tomorrow. I will lose my house. If they tell me no, the children won't have milk to drink in the morning. Right? This is the fearful mindset here. This is and it happens so automatically, right? I know it sounds absurd. I know it's ridiculous, but it happens so automatically that we don't even know that it's happening, right? We're so well versed in it. We're so well trained in it that this happens subconsciously. We have no awareness of it happening. And so that is why we don't do these things. So of course there's nothing to lose, but if you come at it from the default mindset, from the default position of fear, there is everything to lose, including life itself, right? If this customer tells me no, I will die, right? Somebody will come and shoot at me. So there it is. There it is in a nutshell.
Fascinating. Good stuff. So yeah, ask for the sale. It makes you feel better, doubles your results with your customers. Testimonials sell boldly. Good stuff. So, Alex, a couple more questions from your book here. Chapter 7, you talk about proactive selling versus reactive selling. What's the difference? What does that mean?
Well, reactive selling is being a pinball bouncing around from one incoming inquiry to another. So most salespeople spend their days this way. So as we talked about, the phone rings. We must address a concern. We must address the problem. We must address the urgency that has been brought to us. And then we put down the phone and then it rings again. And we spend our days this way. And most salespeople that have been at their work for 2 or 3 years, sort of quietly become reactive salespeople. They become gatherers, right? They gather what's brought to them. Whereas when they start being a salesperson in year 1, and then in year 2 some more, they have no book of business. They have to hunt. They have to go build their customer base. They have to go find prospects. They don't have a book of business when they started being a salesperson. And so they hunt. And so they are proactive. And so the way to think about this is, do you answer the phone and take incoming inquiries all day long? If you do, you are a reactive salesperson. And whether you sell more or not that year is completely dependent upon what might come in. So if the right inquiries come in, you might grow. If the wrong inquiries come in, you won't grow. And it's completely out of your control, right? You control none of it. How much money you make is utterly outside of your control and is only dependent upon who calls with what issues. That's the reactive approach, which is what most people do. The proactive approach is infusing some proactive actions, right? Some outbound communication, intentional communication into those reactive conversations. For example, you might tell a customer what else they can buy from you, right? I call this the did you know question. You might ask a customer for a referral. you might pick up the phone and call somebody you haven't talked to in a little while, in 6 months or more, let's say, because those people aren't calling you. These are all proactive actions. And that is how we can control how much money we make. That is how we can sell more, by taking control of it. Most people are out of that control. They don't have control, and because they're being reactive. So that's the difference.
Excellent. Excellent. That makes just a ton of sense there. And salespeople, if you want to be in control, right, you need to be more proactive, be more in control so that you can control your own salary, your own, your commissions. You can control how much you make. Otherwise, if you're just waiting for the phone ring, you might sell on the phone, but you're not controlling your sales process. So that's really, really helpful, Alex. Thank you. Really good stuff. So last question here from the book here, and then I've got a couple closing ones here. Is one thing that stood out to me when I'm flipping through the book is you say in chapter 23, silence is money. What does that mean?
That means that we lose too much business and opportunity to nervous chatter that fills the silence. Here is what I mean. Phil, listen, who do you know, like yourself, who might have a podcast or might have a program like you have here, who would benefit from having somebody like me on their program to talk about these sales concepts?
So I would say you probably want to talk to maybe Doug Sandler and the Nice Guys on Business would be a good show. Let's see, other shows. I'm trying to think. Maybe not sure. Not sure of a lot of them. I don't listen to a lot of my competitors' shows, to be honest with you. But I could look and figure that out for you. Okay.
Well, you came up with one, right? Which I appreciate. Yep. Now, there's a couple more steps to getting the rest of those details in the referral, which I lay out in the book. And I'm happy to talk about them here if you want. But in regards to the silence issue, and you and I didn't plan that, right? You didn't know I'd be asking you for a referral here during our conversation. But I asked you the question, and then I shut up and I gave you time to think, right? Because I knew, or at least I prepared, or at least I know the language that I was going to use to ask you for a referral, right? So I was asking you for a referral. But you didn't know I was going to ask you for a referral. So you needed time to think. And in that time, I had to be quiet. And too many of us ask a question and then nervous chatter our way into the silence, and we don't allow the other person to answer the question. So ask for the business. Should we write it up? When would you like it? How many do you need? When can I expect the PO? When will you return the signed proposal? And then be quiet and let the person answer the question, right? Do not chatter away your money. That's what we do because we're uncomfortable with the silence. You weren't uncomfortable. You were thinking, right? The other person is thinking of an answer. It's our discomfort. Here's a key point. Almost always, the reasons that we don't do the things that we know we should do is because of our discomfort. It's ours. It's not the customer's discomfort. It's not the prospect's discomfort. It's ours. And so we chatter it away, and that's how it goes. So my hope with this book is to help you deal with this discomfort. And one of the key takeaways is the vast majority of it is just stuff in your head. It's just stuff in your head. It's not real. It's not in the real world. It's just in our heads. It's our childhood and our upbringing and our baggage. And so if we ask the customer what they like best about working with us, it deals with that stuff in our head. And we realize that our customers are incredibly positive about us. And we should talk about ourselves a little bit more like our customers do.
Awesome. Awesome. So Carolyn Quentin comes on and says, ask, then shut up. Great way to rephrase what Alex said and listen to what your customers say to you and understand that it is true. Don't argue with them about how good you are. Is that important, Alex?
Yeah, well, totally. Count to 100 if you have to. Sing a song in your head, right? I teach my kids, ask a question and then start counting in your head, not out loud because that's weird, but in your head, and let the other person answer. And sometimes even in the conversation that you're having in the back and forth, the other person might reach a pausing point. And so then give it a few counts. Give it a 1001, 1002, and you'll find that many times they will add more to their part of the conversation, which will help you in whatever you're trying to do together. So even in the back and forth, you might stop, pause, wait. If they don't come back into it, now it's your turn. So you can do silence after the big ask, and you can also do silence in the in-between parts of just a regular conversation.
Wow. So even in the back and forth, we can use silence to help sell more effectively, and to sell more boldly. That's terrific, Alex. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, I really like that you have this super duper simple system for selling boldly. 2 steps: get your mindset right, and then behave accordingly. Is it really that simple, Alex?
Yeah, it is. You know, we don't believe that it is. We doubt that it is. It can't be that. I have 2 slides in my presentation. One says in really big letters, "It can't be this easy!" Exclamation, exclamation. The next slide is, "It's exactly as easy as I say." It is this easy. We have to know how good we are. We have to be confident. We have to be optimistic. We have to be bold. And then we have to behave accordingly, right? Which means do the work, ask the questions, pick up the phone. You know, we think that our customers and prospects are getting phone calls all day long from people, and we don't want to be one of the annoying ones. The truth is, nobody's calling. You're the only one. I had a client tell me, this is a president of a $80 million or so manufacturer. And he says to me, a supplier got a new CEO. The story's in the book, so I'm allowed to share it. The supplier got a new CEO, and the guy called him on a cell phone. And he says to me in these words, I quote, "It's the first time anybody's ever called me on that damn thing." He says, "We had a great conversation. We talked for half an hour. We hung up. He said it was great." I said, "Weren't you mad at him for calling you on your cell phone?" The guy says, "No, why would I be mad? You just have a human conversation." Now, don't confuse what I'm saying here with cold calling. I'm not talking about cold calling. I'm talking about relationship calling, right? Call humans who you know and talk to them about your family, their family. Talk to them about their life, what they're working on, what's happening now, and how can you help them? That's what I'm talking about. I know I veered away from your question, but it made me think of this. You know, is it really this simple? Yeah, it's kind of as simple, for example, as picking up the phone. That's how simple this is.
Alex, you didn't veer away at all. In fact, you brought that home even more. And the big thing that I pulled out of that is, don't think that this is cold calling. This is relationship calling, right? This is talking to a human like they're a human. Really, really simple stuff. Wow, man, that's great. So this is all good stuff, all simple stuff. Now, your book doesn't come out for another month, so I'm going to certainly drop the link here so people can pick up their copy of Selling Boldly. But if they want to get some of your juice right away, how can they do that, Alex? What's the best way for them to get connected with you right away?
So go to my website, which is goldfayn.com. It's just my last name, goldfayn.com, which is GOLDFAYN. And here's what I like to do for your viewers and listeners, Phil. I'd like to set them up with, if it's okay with you, with the Selling Boldly planners that are in the book. I have some forms and some tools that are going to be downloads on my website when the book comes out. It's not out yet. They're not available yet. I'd like to make them available for viewers of this, and also your listeners, whoever watches it or takes this in, whether it's video or audio. And so if they go to goldfayn.com/what, they can get this. What would you like the slash to be?
Let's make it /Phil Gerb.
Okay. Phil Gerb, Gerb.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sure you'll post a link there, and people will be able to get to it. So we'll make just a simple page, and fill out the little name and email thing, and it'll come to your email, which is how I know to send it, and then they'll be able to get it quickly. I can have that up today.
Awesome. That's great. So that's super generous, Alex. The book is awesome. It's Selling Boldly, all about applying positive psychology to dramatically increase your confidence, increase your happiness, and ultimately increase your sales by doing stuff that you probably already know, but you're just not doing. So my guest today was Alex Goldfayn. Alex is fantastic. Go to goldfayn.com/PhilGerb. There's a link there. It'll be populated today or tomorrow so that you can get the planner Alex is generously giving us. And then in April, you can get a copy of the book. It's fantastic. Again, it's called Selling Boldly. And this is Alex Goldfayn. And I'm Phil Gerbyshak, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. You the man. So now we got a couple seconds here while we dance.